on for Sportz. It's another tough loss for the New York Giants today. They lost to the Washington Commanders, 21-18. Just a tough one, man. Just a real tough one, man. You know, this was a game the Giants had a chance to steal. They had it right there. They had it right there, and they just couldn't get the job done. We're going to get into the reasons why we lost today. And there are a couple of reasons there. But I will say this. Everyone that knows me knows that I have been critical and fair with all my assessments that I have of this quarterback. Today is not the reason why they lost because of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones played well today, and considering the game plan he had, he executed it. They moved the ball when they had their time to move the ball, when they had their chances. This is not on Daniel Jones today. It's not. This loss is on the defense today. Now, the defense had a chance all day, to stop the Washington offense, and all they did was get pushed around up and down the damn field all day long. The only time that this defense stepped up was when it came down to red zone defense. Other than that, I mean, they basically just dominated time of possession, man, the whole game. So for all those that are anti-Daniel Jones or whatever, I get it. I'm not anti. I'm fair with everything I say. Today was not on Daniel Jones, man. It wasn't. I'm going to be honest with y'all. It wasn't. This is a game that I've been one of these people. I have been talking about this Giant defense all offseason. I have felt that they have, in my opinion, on paper, they have the best D-line in time. I didn't think they were going to be coming out the gate in all cylinders, and they showed some signs the first two games. But I got to call it the way I see it, man. This defense, they got pushed around at point of attack a lot today. They could not get off the field on third down to save their life. The rushing offense was just abysmal. They could not stop them. You know, Jaden Daniels, he came in as a hot shot rookie. He played okay today. He didn't play great. He didn't go out there and wow. I didn't feel that way. But the Giant defense did not stop the rushing attack, man. They just didn't. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that right now, man. You know, first of all, let's go to total yards, man. Total yards, Washington dominated time of possession, which we'll get into, which led to this total yardage right here. Washington with 425 total yards. The Giants had 304 yards. Okay. You might not say, hey, that's not a lot of yards on the Giant offense, but you know what? They weren't on the field for a lot of the game, especially the first half. The first quarter alone, the first drive alone, I think Washington had the ball for like the first 9 minutes of the game. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's get to the live. Let's get to the chat, man. Yeah, Real Multi. What's good, bro? Yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest. I know you agreeing with me with this. You know, this time of possession was crazy. Yeah, we needed this win badly, bro. We definitely did. And we'll get into that in a few because this is a crippling loss. But let's get into the reasons why we lost. You know what I mean? So, listen. They dominated time of possession, rushing yards, as I mentioned. You know, which led to the rushing yards and the total yardage disparity. Let's just look at the rushing yards alone. Washington had 35 carries for 215 yards. Okay, alone on the ground. That tells me point of attack was not there defensively. It just wasn't. We did not get. Now, I came into this game not thinking we were going to get a lot of high sacks. We got a few sacks today. We did do that. But it came from mostly on blitzes. It wasn't from the front four, this front four that I've been talking about that I really like. You know what I mean? Now, some of that also was because of game planning. They had to have a certain kind of rush. They had to have a control pass rush because they had to make sure that Daniels didn't get out too much and gash them on the ground on those things, which happened a couple of times in this game. I don't know how many times we had him and he got away. A play, I think McFadden had a sack, he got away from him. Tibbs got in there a couple of times, couldn't bring him down. They just couldn't bring him down. And that was a big deal. Now, the rushing yards, here we go again. 17 carries for Mr. Robinson, Brian Robinson. 7.8 per carry. Per carry. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Daniels, you look at his yardage. Okay, 10 carries, 44 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. That's not crazy. That's not ridiculous. But you know what? How many times did he get out at the right time and ran? It seemed like the rushes he did have were critical, especially on third down, man. Especially on third down. That's the Giant defense got to be better, man. They got to be better. They got to be better, man. Exactly. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about that as well because, Leak I thought Leak had a great game until that point. He had a great game, man. He balled out. You could see, they did a good job with the game plan this week, getting him the touches that he needed. Okay. I mean, you look at the numbers. He had 10 catches, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. How many times did Neighbors get a big play in this offense? DJ was finding him, looking for him. He did a good job today, looking to give him his targets. But that one play at the end of the game, it cost us, man. It cost us. That was a big drop. Because first of all, let's also mention this as well, and let's not act like this wasn't a factor as well. Okay, Graham Gano injury on the first freaking play of the game on the kickoff, he blows his hammy out. Now, can somebody tell me if he was injured during the week, why did we dress him? Why did we dress Gano? We should have not even had him play. Now he's going to be out long term now. There was no reason to play him. We should have just went there, got a kicker for this week, and let it be because apparently he hurt himself in practice this week. That's a bad job by the Giants right there, man. They shouldn't have did that, man. The man just blew his hammy out, just running down the field. He didn't get blocking, he's just running. That actually was a big part of this game because the Giants had no kicks. They couldn't kick the ball, so they kept going for it on fourth down. And I thought the offense did a good job dealing with that. But Malik, he dropped a critical pass. Listen, you're the 6th overall pick, and I love Malik Davis. Anyone knows me knows I'm all in on him. I think he's going to be a tremendous player this year and a tremendous Giant going forward. However, these are the plays you got to make, bro. You got to make those plays. You can't have that drop. It was a critical drop on fourth down. You make that conversion. You know what? We're going to score either a field goal or a touchdown, run more play, one more clock. Okay? That was a critical drop, man. And, I'm not here to say that we lost the game because of that drop, because I feel like the defense was the biggest bugaboo here. They just got pushed around the whole game. Okay? They got pushed around the whole game. But it was the biggest play of the game. And that is something we cannot have. It was the biggest play of the game because you make that play, you know what? They might not even get a chance to go down the field and score or have enough time. Or worse, we kick a field goal. Maybe they tie the game and we go into overtime. There's a lot of what ifs there, man. That was a critical play. A critical play. It just is what it is. Yeah, I'll say, I don't know what you try. Listen, DJ was okay today. It is what it is. He wasn't tremendous, but he did what he had to do to win the game. I'm not hating on DJ today, to be honest. This ain't the day for it. I'm fair with mine. He did what he had to do. He did not lose this game for us, man. The defense was bad, bro. It is what it is. Shout out to Blaze, man. 330 crew for life. Taquan Lewis, this is heartbreaking. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking loss, man. This is a critical loss because the thing we did not want to see was an 0-2 start. We came into this season knowing this schedule. Okay, we knew the schedule was going to be tough after week 2. We saw it. We said Minnesota at home, you got to win that game. We got to win that game. You can't lose that game at home. 100 years and everything, you can't lose that game. Okay, we dropped that game. We got basically dominated in that game. Okay, I'm so hot. I'm parched right now, for real, man. Then we go into Washington. You got to win that game as well. And they played good enough to win. The problem is the defense did not do enough out there to give us a chance to win. And a critical Malik Neighbors drop. That's what did us in. That's what did us in, man. It's unfortunate, man. It really is. It's unfortunate. It really is, man. Get to these comments, man, in the chat. Oh, man, what a freaking tough one this was today, man. Yeah, of course, bro. I know what it is. We listen, everyone has their opinion on Jones. I have my opinion on him as well. This is a safe space. I tell everybody that, whatever you feel, you feel. And Blaze is one of those. He's part of the 330 crew. We all fair. This is not on him today. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. And whoever's gonna say that, I don't know what game you're watching. It is what it is. Joshua KR, it's time for somebody to be fired. Well, I tell you what. I don't know about being fired right now. I wouldn't do that. But if things spiral out the way it looked like it could, heads are going to roll. Heads are going to roll because this schedule is not easy. We got at Cleveland next week in that stadium against that defense. That's going to be a rough one, man. That's going to be a rough one. We're going to have to be on our A game, and our offense is going to have to take it up a notch. And are you confident that they're going to be able to do that right now? I don't think any Giant fan can say that right now. I don't think anyone can say that, especially against that defense. Then Dallas on a short week at home. Dallas on a Thursday night. And I believe Seattle after that. At Seattle, man, 0-4, 0-5, 1-4 is looking dead at us right now. Again, another season where the Giants are on an uphill climb, not starting fast. That's a problem, man. That's a problem. That is a problem. It might be over. If you had to fire somebody in the Giants, who would it be? I mean, that's not a listen, I can't discuss that right now because honestly, I'm not into just keep with the change in the regimes thing. That's a conversation to have down the road, down through the season. I don't think you can make a fire change right now. It's too early for that. It's only week 2. This is a critical loss. It's 0-2, and it's not it. But I wouldn't do that. No, I would not fire anybody yet. But if this continues to trend the way it could trend, let's say it's December, you're going to have an empty stadium, and you're looking at a 3-win, 4-win team. Dable and Shane will not be safe. It won't be just Daniel Jones not being safe. It will be Dable and Shane not safe because the vultures are already hovering. They're already hovering. Taquan Lewis, defense had to be better. Yeah, they have to do better, man. I know, listen, work in progress, new coordinator, but man, you got to get off the field on third down. You can't get pushed around like that, man. They basically held the ball the entire game. The entire game. And there was some third and longs in there too. Let's not get it twisted. There was some third and longs. Now, Mr. Bowen, could you come out of that zone sometimes and mix it up a lot? Because it seemed like Clisbury knew whenever we wanted to do something on third down, he came with the right play. Whether it was a screen, whether it was just well executed on their part, it seemed like he knew what was coming. That's a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. No, Blaze, no one right now. Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not firing nobody right now. I'm not firing nobody right now. It's too early for that. Giants should not fire anybody after week 2. That's crazy. That's just a crazy. But down the line in December, we'll see where we're at, because if that's the case, and listen, let's be honest, the Giants are a conservative organization. They're not going to do an in-season firing. They don't do stuff like that. Okay, I think the only time that I could ever remember them doing an in-season firing was the whole Ben McAdoo fiasco with Jerry Reese when they benched Eli that season in 2017 ridiculously. So I don't think that's going to happen. Mark Stewart, what's good? Shout out Mark Stewart. Defense sucks. Yeah, man, they suck today, bro. The only thing that they did well was get off the field on red zone defense and make them kick field goals. Because let's be honest, and some of that was because Washington made mistakes. They made mistakes. They had some bad penalties at the wrong damn time. Whether it was a false start or a hold or something like that, they were hurting themselves more than what the Giant defense was doing to them. But that's the only thing you can come about this and say, you know what? Defense played good in this area. That's it. They got manhandled the entire game, bro. Manhandled up front. And y'all know me. I'm big on point of attack. I'm big on point of attack, man. You know what I mean? So that really was bothering me a lot. This was a must-win game, man. This was a must-win game, and they did not do the job, man. They just didn't. Okay? Now, getting back to that time of possession thing, it just goes to show you, if the Giants had the ball more, maybe they could have did more with the ball. Maybe they could score more points in this game. I don't think there's any doubt about that, because Washington's defense is not that good. Their secondary was getting torched out there by Malik Neighbors. Slayton had a critical drop, but he had some plays. There was plays out there the Giants were making. It's just they didn't have the freaking ball enough. Look at these numbers. Singletary ran the ball 16 times, for only 16 carries, and he had 133 yards and a touchdown. 6.4 per carry. So it wasn't what Washington defense was doing. It was what the Washington offense was doing, and more so what the Washington, the New York Giant defense wasn't doing. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It really is. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy how they could not get off the field. DJ had 5 carries and 32 yards, 6.4 per clip. You know what? He had a good game. And that's what I liked about this game plan with Brian Dable. He kind of dumbed it down, went back to 2022 version, a little bit, had some carries, some RPOs for him. Jones was not the problem today. He moved the ball. He did what he had to do, okay? He was not the problem today. The problem was the Giant defense, and we didn't have the ball enough. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, man. Plain and simple. Let's get to the comments, man. Just a tough loss, man. Middle of the field were always open. Tyquan Lewis. Yeah. The middle of the field was open. That's what happens when you play zone. You play a lot of zone like that, and Clinsbury, he's a good offensive mind. He knows how to attack certain areas of the field you're going to give him. And I thought the Giants secondary wasn't terrible today. I just thought the rushing defense was abysmal. It was abysmal today to me. Simple as that. Simple as that. They got to be better, man. They got to be better. You can't get pushed around like that and expect in the NFL to. And then it's like you're doing that with a rookie quarterback. You're making it easy for him to do work. You're making it easy on him, because one of the keys I had in this game. 1 second, as I see. Oh, I thought it was breaking news. No, it's not breaking news. Never mind that. So I thought that the problem was coming into this game. I said, listen, the Giant defense has to win this game, win up front. That was my number one key in the game. I said if they stop the running game and make Daniels play from the pocket for most of the game, they will be fine and in good shape. Well, they didn't do that. They didn't. Brian Robinson ran over them. They had 215 freaking yards on the ground, man. And he had 178 of that. I mean, how many times was he breaking through the middle and breaking tackles? Oh, man, bro. It was crazy. Yeah, Blaze, I didn't even know he was hurt during the week. Yeah, he got hurt in practice. He got hurt in practice, and I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember. But he got hurt in practice. So if you knew he was hurt in practice, just go out there and get a kicker for this week. He's a freaking kicker. If you got a leg injury, you can't mess around with that. And plus, Graham Gano was hurt last year too. So you would think you want to take it easy on that. No, they didn't do it. Just a bad mistake, man. Because if we had our kicker, we win the game as well. That's another reason we lost, because we didn't have a kicker. Now, I'm not excited about kicking field goals all the time, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. You have a kicker. Maybe we kick some field goals here. Maybe we're not going for two or all the time or going for it on fourth down. Just so Giants 2020, 2022, 2023, I should say, 2024. Just so Giants there. The real multi. DJ played way better than last week on Sunday. Absolutely, man. Listen, we got to call it how we see it, man. One thing about me, what y'all going to get, you're going to get the real. You're going to get the real. No matter what opinion Giant fans have. Listen, we all have opinions. Everyone's entitled to it. As long as you back it up with the right statements, it is what it is. It's all good. There's times to get on the quarterback, and then there's times it's not to. Okay, no matter how you feel about the guy. Today wasn't the reason why we lost, man. It wasn't. And I'm not even a big D Daniel Jones guy. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not sold on him. You know, I'm hoping for the best because it's about the front of the jersey. I want to win games. But today's not on him. Today's not him. If you watch the game, today's not on him, man. Blaze, DJ didn't lose this game for us, so that's a positive. He looked composed for the most part. Yeah, he did. He did. He didn't get out of his, he didn't look skittish today. He didn't look skittish today. After the first quarter. And let's talk about that offensive line. Y'all know me. I'm a point of attack guy, okay? I'm a point of attack guy. Let's talk about that offensive line, man. Okay? They played their asses off, I thought, today. They played well. They were moving guys. They were making up holes. They were protecting DJ. There was plenty of plays where he had a clean pocket. I'm like, man, this feels good to see. The Giants actually with a pocket for the quarterback to step up into. Hey, it is what it is. That 85 sack-ish, that is done. We got to stop thinking about that. That's over. This offensive line is a solid line, and I don't think it's an excuse we can use for this offense not scoring points this year for whatever reasons they are. Music Films. What up, bro? What's going on? Yeah, he still don't score for us either. Okay, yeah, no doubt about it. He didn't score a lot of points. Ideally, you want more touchdowns, no doubt about it, and that's an issue. And that's an issue for the Giants offense for the last 7 years, 6, 7 years, or whatever. They don't score enough points. We know that. But today wasn't the reason. They didn't have the ball enough, man. Let's be honest, bro. They just didn't have the ball enough. They didn't score enough points because they didn't have the ball enough. Because let's be honest, the Washington defense didn't do much to stop us. We were going up and down the field on them. Neighbors was killing them. You know what I'm saying? Singletary had his best game so far as a Giant. We ran the ball well, man. We ran the ball well. Okay. We had 22 carries for 129 yards. Okay. That's a high clip for a team that only had the ball for 22 minutes. We only had the ball 22 minutes in this game. Think about that. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable, man. You're a Giant defense. You can't do that. You can't do that. He says you fired the quarterback. I mute. I see where you stand, brother. I feel you, dog. But today's not the day to talk about that, brother. No, I got love for you. Today's not the day for that, man. Blaze, even if we have a crappy season, I will still keep GM and head coach. Need to see them with a real quarterback. Listen, I understand that part of it. You know, honestly, I'm just not into just keeping on with the whole changing regimes every 2 years stuff, man. It don't look good on your organization. It don't look good, okay? And then on top of that, you keep doing it. Listen, we changed with Shermer. He got 2 years, okay? We went to Judge. He went 2 years, okay? All right? When is it going to stop? And I'm not saying those firings were not justified. They were. They were justified. But at the end of the day, yeah, take it out, honey. At the end of the day, this regime knew what they had to deal with. Gettleman mess. Gettleman left a big crap mess to clean up, okay? It wasn't just about coaching. It was Gettleman. His drafts had crippled the Giants. Crippled them. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are Giant fans who are frustrated like me or anybody else. Hey, I'm a season ticket holder. I get frustrated too. But you gotta look at what it is, man. I see it all the time on social media, on Twitter, all of that, on X, whatever you call that. They're like, oh, Shane need to go too. Listen, at the end of the day, did y'all really think miracles was gonna happen after what Gettleman left us? Let's be honest. What did he leave us? He left us Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence in 4 years there. That's it. That's it. And we still don't know if DJ's the guy. He most likely is or isn't. Whatever opinion you stand on, it don't look good right now for him either. And the regime showed on Hard Knocks, they know that they probably feel that way too. So it's going to take time. And yes, 2022 was great. I loved it. We won a playoff game. We came out of nowhere. But you know what? That roster was a barren roster. That's why I feel like we have the right guys, because we got to the playoffs with a roster, in my opinion, that's worse than this one. It's worse. And we got to the playoffs and won a playoff game on the road. Let's be real. No one can tell me that this roster is not better than that 2022 version or last year. Just saying. And I know, Blaze, I know you agree with me, brother. I know you agree with me. The Real Multi says John Mara expects this team to have an outstanding season so far. It's not looking like that so far. I can only imagine what he is thinking right now, shaking my head. I mean, listen, he better not. I know he's not happy. He better not be happy. He better not be happy. And that's why this is a big thing here for Mr. Brian Dale, because listen, John Mara, he's shown that he's willing to fire guys after 2 years. He's done it the last two coaches and with the last GM with Matt. Well, Gettleman lasted longer than he should, but the 2 years with the coaches, he's done that 2 times already. Brian Dable was the first coach to get to his 3rd season since Tom Coughlin. What does that tell you? So, and like I said, I'm not saying that those firings were not justified, but however, it is what it is. Sooner or later, you got to settle and let your guys sink or swim and build this thing up. And yes, they paid Daniel Jones that after 2022, okay, the money that they did. Now, people get crazy over the contract. I'm not one of them. Any NFL contract, you got to look at the language of the contract. It's basically a 2-year deal if they choose and desire. Okay, I mentioned yesterday and all week how the Giants have a situation on their hands that rubber could meet the road down the line, that there's a injury clause in that contract for him that guarantee money, and they might sit him if they don't start winning games. Well, you know what? Now that's going to be out there because Adam Schefter just reported some of that, what I talked about the last couple of days today. So the contract and the language is the most important thing. The Giants can get out of that deal after the offseason if they choose to. It was up to Daniel Jones to make them not want to do that, because obviously Hard Knocks showed they're thinking about doing that. They tried to trade up in the offseason. They couldn't get up there. They tried to trade up in the draft and they couldn't. You know, so they chose the next best thing, which was the right thing to do, and got Daniel Jones, one of the best weapons in the draft to use. Okay, so Those are conversations down the road we'll have about that. But at the end of the day, John Mara is definitely not happy today. I mean, I don't think anyone thought we were going to go 0-2 to start out the gate like this, especially with this schedule. It's a crippling one, man. This is a crippling start. And again, another slow start by this freaking Giants team to start seasons. It's crazy. It seems like the last 7 years, they either start 1-4, 1-5, 0-4 all the time. The only 2 years they have it, they made the playoffs. How about that? 2016, they started 2-0. 2022, they started 6-1. It's crazy. It's crazy. Muse saying he was the problem. He's not leading the offense. He's not the problem. He's leading the offense. Blaze, trade for Wilson. Trade for us, huh? He's hurt too. I don't even want him either, bro. He's hurt too. He's hurt too, man. You know? And I think I might have to fact check that. I think if you do trade for that contract, then the team that trades for him is on the hook to pay him the rest. But I don't know the language of that contract, that is if it's an easy opt-out or it's no guaranteed money left. So I got to check that out. He played better last week. No, nobody said he played better last week, bro. I said he played better this week. Okay, yeah, he didn't get 200 yards last week either. No, he didn't. However, that was bad last week. We know that. He was garbage last week. I was out there. We saw it online. He was garbage. But this week, that's more about him not having the ball. They didn't have the ball, They just didn't. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the ball enough, bro. They just didn't. They dominated time of possession, man. They dominated time. Washington had nearly 40 minutes of time of possession, bro. 40 minutes. That's crazy. If you think back if you don't have the ball for more than 20, 25, 28 minutes a game, you're not going to score many points, man. If you think back in the day, I know it's probably a little before your time, brother. You know, I respect that. But even in the freaking Giants Super Bowl against Buffalo, what was the game plan? They had the ball 40 minutes. They kept that offense off the field. They won the game by 1 point because of why? Because they kept them off the field. They couldn't do what they do because they were never on the field. You know what I'm saying? And that was a high-powered Buffalo offense in 1990 in that Super Bowl. Well, I'm not comparing our offense to that by no means. Of course not. Hell no. But it's just an old school saying, and it works in any era. If you don't have the ball enough, you're not going to score a lot of points. Today's not on DJ, bro. I'm sure you'll have your pound of flesh down the road, but today's not the day for it, brother. You know, I got love for you. You know that. But I got to call it how I see it. Blaze, the Fat Boys kept the pocket clean. Hell yeah, that offensive line was the biggest plus in this game, in my opinion, and Malik Neighbors. Okay. Daniel Jones as well, that he didn't turn the ball over, which was a good thing too. So he got better from last week. But to me, the biggest thing is the offensive line balled out today. And they weren't even on the field much. And it's a shame because if they were on the field, they would, because they were imposing their will on that Washington defensive line. They were imposing their will. They were moving guys out the way, running the ball well, okay, protecting Jones. Jones had all day to throw the ball. I got a stat check. I don't know if he was even sacked today. Maybe once. I don't even know. It felt like he was clean, had a clean jersey the whole damn game. The offensive line is not an excuse no more, guys. It's not. And I know real Giant fans know that, okay? And it's been like that. The offensive line has been a problem the whole time, but this ain't it. This ain't it. Mew, 186 last week and what, 170 something this week. Yeah. Yep. You know, it is what it is, bro. You know, we all know that he's definitely not going to throw for 350. We know there's reasons why we feel the way we feel about him. All I'm telling you is this. It's not on him today, bro. It's just not. That's all. I'm not saying you wrong about how you feel about it. I'm just saying today's game. This is about today, brother. Today's not the day to blame him for that. 22 minutes and still couldn't score. All right, brother. Kyrie's our guy, man. He's a part of our 330 crew. He's got his mind made up, and there's no turning back on that. I ain't saying he ain't wrong. I'm just saying today he is, because today's not the reason that they lost. Latin Thug 288-2. What's up, brother? Nah, quarterback did okay, but still, yeah, he did all right, man. It's just heartbreaking. That Malik Neighbors drop was the biggest play of the game. It cost us possibly running the clock and scoring and keeping the clock from those guys. It's tough because he balled out too. It's unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. But the biggest culprit of this problem of this day has been this defense. The defense lost this game. The biggest play of the game was the Malik drop, but the reason we lost is because of the defense. The defense was bad today. They were. They got run over. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little old school or whatever, but if I see my defense or my team give up that many rushing yards on time of possession, dominated like that, I'm sorry. That ain't Giant football to me. It's not. Never will be. Never will be. That's not Giant football to me. Giant defense should not be getting killed, especially with the talent on this defense. Now, maybe it's for two reasons. Maybe it's because they're learning the scheme and it's still fresh and they're still learning some things. I don't know. Maybe it's because Bowen got to make better adjustments, because, in my opinion, I'm putting this a little more on Bowen. Both can be true, and you know what? Both maybe are true. But I'm putting more of this on Bowen because, dude, I saw Dable make adjustments to his playbook this week, and it was effective enough to where we had a chance to win the game after last week's fiasco. Where were your adjustments? Where were they? Because it seemed like to me, Clinsbury knew every time we've had a play call, he had the right play to call for Daniels. That's a rookie quarterback out there, bro. That's a rookie quarterback out there. He don't know everything that's out there going on. I'm pretty sure Jaden Daniels is not calling plays in the huddle. He's not. You got out-coached, Bowen. You did. You got out-coached. Clinsbury had the right play drawn up every time, especially on third down. And there was some third and longs in there. There was a short screen pass to the receiver that escapes me. They run it for a first down. It was like 3rd and 13. Caught us in the zone, defense, perfect blocking, off to the races, first down. Daniels gets out, knew the play was coming. As soon as the rush come, he go the other way and run it in for a first down. The tackling wasn't well either today as well. That's another thing I have to say. The Giant defense tackling was not good today. Not good. Because I saw Daniels get off a lot of hits. Brian Robinson was an Eckler. They were bouncing off tackles all day long. Sorry, Daniel Jones is not out there to tackle people. He don't play defense. We can't blame this one on him. We just can't. No matter how you feel. Latin Thug 2882. Can't stand Getter. Yeah, I know. I don't even like talking about that guy, but I have to because of the topic. I had to bring him up. But yeah. Gettleman screwed us, man. You know. And listen, Joe Shane, he has a mess to clean. You know, and I'm not saying his draft picks have been 100% unbelievable, but they haven't been terrible either. Okay, and it's not an overnight job. It just isn't. And until he settles on his quarterback or what he wants, whether that be Daniel Jones, that he plays like a franchise quarterback, or he gets one in here, and that's a story for another day. But the roster, no one can tell me that this roster is not better than 2022 or 2023. When 2022, they got to the playoffs with a barren roster. Nobody cannot dispute that with me. I'm sorry, you just can't. You know what? I can't with you, Mew. Oh man. My guy. Joshua K. Offense finally played well. but that was because we were playing Washington, and we've owned Washington for 10 years. Offense can't play like this against other teams. Yeah, you know, I said it all week. I said it on my channel, on the content, other people's platforms. Washington is usually the Giants' medicine when they're sick. And that's what pisses me off about this loss. They are our medicine because we should have won this game. I don't want to say should. We could have won this game. We had a great chance to steal it. It just didn't go our way today. And there's reasons for that. Every time. Because Washington was kicking themselves in the red zone. They were kicking themselves. They were screwing themselves over with bad pre-snap penalties. Every time. Short-circuiting drives. Okay? Because they were moving the ball, dominating time of possession, but they only kicked field goals and won without scoring a touchdown today. Why? Because they ran the freaking ball over us the whole game long. Even on the last drive, they did it. You know? And yes, Joshua, you're right. We have to play better offensively. That's a Captain Obvious statement, but it's true. They have to play better offensively going forward. And a lot better offensively even as far as next week. Because listen, this schedule is about to get crazy. There's no more, fellas, there's no more Minnesota Washingtons on the schedule. I think we play Washington one more game this year at home later on in the year. Fine, so be it. But that's it. And the Panthers in Germany. The rest of the schedule is you're going to have to bring it. Plain and simple. You're going to have to bring it. And the Giant offense has to be better. And they have to be better going forward or we're in deep shit. As well, we already in deep-ish. But this season's about to get out of hand now if they don't. Tyquan Lewis, you saying nothing but facts, bro. We need to do way better defense, need to play better. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, where were the adjustments, man? Where were the adjustments from freaking Bowen today, man? I'm sorry. Clisbury knew every time when to call a play on us, man, when we were in a defensive coverage. Every time, especially on third down. Come on now. Where were the adjustments, man? Got to be better than that, bro. Got to be better than that. I saw Brian Dable make adjustments last week from last week's debacle. I saw it. They featured more RPOs. They went with a rushing first offense instead of dropping back 28 times to throw the ball, which right now DJ can't do that right now. He recognized that. So what did he do? He dumbed down the playbook. He went to strengths, called good plays. He had a lot of good time in plays, especially on third down, man. Especially on third down. Let me look at the third down stats for the Giants. Because obviously it was way better than last week. Not even close. It was way better than last week, man. Let me fact check that right now. Fact check that right now. Giants were 4 for 7 on third down. 4 for 7. 1 for 1 on fourth down. So you know what? The play calling with Brian Dable was there. It was there. The problem was they weren't on the field enough. Whose fault is that? That's Shane Bowen and his defense's fault because they couldn't get the damn unit off the field. They were missing tackles and they could not get off the freaking field. And third downs, Washington was killing us on third down as well. Let's go to Washington's third down percentage here. I got to fact check because this is what I do. I'm just aggravated with this right now because, you know, I need better from Bowen. I need better. I do. I need better. Land Thug. That's on Mara for that. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, that's on Mara. He was the moron that kept Gettleman here too long. He was the only reason. Everyone told him he wasn't good. But, you know, he want to be the classy owner and his guys and the Giant way of doing things and keep a guy that see, that's one thing about this organization. They're not really conservative with their coaches 10 years because they will get rid of a coach. I think Coughlin and Parcells lasted the longest I'll fact check that another time. But Coughlin lasted a long time, obviously, because he had to. He won 2 Super Bowls. He's a future Hall of Fame coach. But after that, he's fired coaches after 2 years. But his GMs, he's been very conservative with firing GMs. Jerry Reese lasted a long time. He lasted a long time. He lasted 10 years here. Well, he won 2 Super Bowls. And I'm not one of these guys that say Jerry Reese was a bad GM. He won us 2 Super Bowls. I feel like his end of his tenure was bad, Jerry Reese. And trust me, I wouldn't mind another Jerry Reese find somewhere in this. Hopefully Joe Shane is our next Jerry Reese and we win 2 more Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? That's a story for another day. But Jerry Reese's tenure, the last 7 years were bad. So, yes, it was time for him to go. But it took them a long time to do that. And then you bring in Dave Gettleman to replace him, and what does he do? He was terrible for 4 years. He was awful. It was awful. A complete joke. Destroyed the roster. Destroyed it. And he kept them and let him retire. John Mara. We're the same age. I doubt that, bro. We around the same age. I don't know. We'll talk offline. I think I got maybe a year on you, bro. That's my bro. We always chop it up. Joshua Kayard. Ownership is the biggest issue with the Giants. I don't know if it's the biggest issue, but you know, I'm not one of these guys that put everything on Mara, but Mara has made mistakes. There's no doubt about it. He's made mistakes. He has. Okay? He has. I feel like, in my opinion, he's involved, but not the way people kind of misconstrue it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's certain times he has meddled in the past, but I don't think it's something that has crippled the team the last few years. Obviously, you saw on Hard Knocks, he gave his opinion. He's an owner. He's going to give his opinion of who he wants on the team. But to me, meddling means when the guy comes in and tells him, no, bring this guy back now. That's meddling to me. He gave his opinion. He let his regime do the business and walked away and let it be. Any owner's going to give their opinion. They're going to do that. James Dolan was a meddling owner early in his tenure. We know that. This is not a James Dolan situation. And by the way, James Dolan has stepped away and let the guys do their work. And look what has happened. The problem with Mara is not about meddling. He hasn't hired the right guys to fix it. That's the problem with him. It's not about meddling with the personnel decisions. He just hasn't hired the right personnel men to make the decisions. That's been the problem with him. Now, is Joe Shane the problem? We'll see. We'll see. I don't think you can say he's totally the problem right now. I don't see that. You know, can he be better? Sure, of course he can. They all can be better. Until you're a winning team, you can all be better. But I like to see this regime get their opportunity with their roster to see if they're the answer. That's all. But if they continue to lose and they have a terrible season, would you be surprised? I know I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they were to make a change. I would not. This is why this is a crucial game now, because now all you're going to hear is more of this. Eddie, what's goody, bro? We suck. Yeah, we do. We suck right now, bro. 0-2 against 2 teams that are not great teams, and we lost. One was a complete unprepared no-show last week. Inexcusable effort play out there. Got out-coached, outplayed. And this week was just defense not executing and no adjustments from our defensive coordinator and a terrible drop by Malik Neighbors at the wrong freaking time. That was the biggest play of the game. That's why we lost. Straight like that. He was sacked once. Yeah, he was sacked one time. Offensive line did their job. They did their job. Latin Thug 28-82. Yes, defense. Yeah. They were asleep out there. How many missed tackles did we have today? It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Just missed tackles, not bringing the ball carriers down. Daniels, listen, Daniels he's an elusive player. We all know that if you watch college football, you know what he brings to the table. He's elusive. I can understand a couple of times letting him get out. You just couldn't get your hands on him because I call him Righty Vic in space. He's tough to bring down with his speed and his elusiveness. But there were times where we had him wrapped up and they didn't get him down. That's a problem. That's pad tackling. McFadden had one of those early. Had a sack for could have been like an 18-yard loss. Had him wrapped up, spinned him down. He couldn't bring him down. And instead of a 18 to 20-yard loss, it was only a 5-yard loss. And then what happened? They converted the first down right after that, the next play. It's plays like that, man. It's plays like that. The defense did not do their job today. They were bad. Straight up. They were bad. Joshua K.R. Joe Shane got us some great talent since his arrival, but did one of the most fraudulent things any organization could do, which is give Jones a lot of money. Had they not do that, they would have had Saquon. Again, I understand what you're trying to say, Josh. I do. But again, you have to look at the contract language. Yes, it says 4 years, $161 million. However, they can get out of that deal after the season. So in essence, the contract was not a terrible contract as the final numbers say because of that. Because it really opts into like a 2-year deal if they so choose. And it looks like it's trending that way. Okay? So in reality, it's not really 4 years, $161 million. It's really a 2-year deal. Joe Shane left the option of them getting out of the contract. I've seen some bad deals. Look at that Deshaun Watson. That's a terrible contract. That's a brutal one, a fully guaranteed. How many times have we seen Kirk Cousins get a contract? We're like, what? How much did he sign for? He just did it again to Atlanta. He just con jobbed 3 organizations to pay him. Like a G. We call that in the streets. That's like a G. That's G shit, bro. So the contract is not really the issue. It's not. Because after the season, they're most likely heading towards a divorce. Unless miraculously Daniel Jones becomes the player that they thought he could possibly be. Possibly. We ain't making the playoffs. It don't look good. Playoffs? Playoffs? I gotta quote that dude Jim Moore. Playoffs? I'm not even thinking about playoffs right now. I'm not. 0-2. And please, also, Giant fans out there, I love my Giants family. I love my Giants nation. I do not want to hear any, well, we started 2007 0-2 and we saw what happened then. Look, that's not this team. That's a long way from what used to be. That team was capable of doing that. This is not that kind of team, okay? Is the season over today? No, it's not. It's 2 weeks in, 0-2. Are the odds in our favor? Hell no. Hell no, it's not. Not at all. It's up to the organization and this roster and this coaching staff to get them. And I'm putting this on the players. Give me a players-only meeting or something in that locker room this week. Something. Gather the troops. Hey, it's us against them. It's us against the world. Let's go show them. No one's expecting us to go into Cleveland and win. No one's expecting us to beat Dallas on a short week. Let's go get these 2 games. Because you know what? I said before the season, the Giants' schedule, the way it broke, they needed to start 3-1, no worse than 2-2. And I said it had to be 2-0 after 2 weeks because I didn't see them beating both Cleveland and Dallas in those weeks. Maybe we sneak one of them, but both? No. Well, now they got no choice. If they go out there and win these next 2 games, then you know what? We back in business, baby. We back in business. But am I confident that's going to happen? Hell no. How can you be? It ain't likely going to happen. Will I be rooting for it to happen? You damn right. No matter what I feel my opinion is, it's always this, man. It's always the front of the jersey, baby. It's Big Blue all the way till I'm worm food. So I'm gonna watch every game, and I'm gonna be at every game, and I'm gonna be rooting for the squad because that's what I am, what I do, and who I am. At least Mara is not like David Tep. Shit, that's a bad owner who don't know what he doing, in my opinion. All he had to do was just wait. First of all, he took the wrong quarterback where he was picking. When he traded up all of that just to get Bryce Young. Now I'm not here to hate on Young. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that because I don't think that roster is good at all for a young quarterback to deal with. So whatever he gets out of them is what they give him. Unfortunate for him, he went to a roster like that. I don't think they're doing a good job out there building around a young quarterback. However, C.J. Stroud was the guy they should have taken, and that's obvious now. They missed out on a generational quarterback. And even if that wasn't the case, all they had to – and you don't make that trade and trade up. You just say, hey, F it, we don't get the guy. All he had to do was wait one more year, and he would have had Caleb Williams to this year. He would have had him because Chicago ended up – with that trade, ended up taking him. That was Carolina's pick. They could have had Caleb. So you missed out on C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams because this owner was so thirsty to make something happen, didn't want to listen to his people, to the regime he employs, and made them make a crazy trade. And now look, maybe the worst roster in the NFL right now. Maybe, probably. Latin 2882. By the way, it's Dorian from Stanford on to Cleveland. Of course, I know who you are, brother. I know who you are. My guy Dorian, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, it's on to Cleveland. I mean, it is what it is. I ain't over this loss right now. But yes, it's on to Cleveland next week. And it's not it's the season's on the line next week, basically. The season's on the line. Some would say the season already is over. I'm not one of those guys until it ain't over till it's over. Yogi Berra, it's a quote, but it's true. It ain't over till it's over. I'm not confident, but it ain't over yet. And I'm still going to root for the boys every week. And I'm going to be hoping my ass off that Daniel Jones balls out and we get a win next week because you know why? I'm a Giant fan. I want to win. No matter what my opinions of the quarterback is or the roster or whatever, or their chances of doing it. I'm a Giant fan first, and I want to win. Blaze, it ain't over, but it's on life support. It sure is. It sure is. We hear that beep. We definitely hearing that beep right now. Right in the hospital room. It's on life support, man. This is just a tough loss, man. It really is. It's a bad one, man. It's a bad one because you just wish. First of all, you got to feel bad for that kid, man, Malik Neighbors, because he balled out, man. He really played his ass off today. He was the best player on the field today, by far. He was the best player on the field today, on the offense. I'll say this: he was the best player on the field. I guess there's an argument to be made that Brian Robinson was probably the best player on the field on Washington, but it was more about the Giants just not executing while Brian Robinson just ran them over like that. To me, Malik Neighbors balled out. He really showed why he was the number one pick. It's just he made the worst possible play at the worst time, man. You know, when you're the 6th overall pick, man, you got to make those plays. There's no excuses. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not making excuses for the kid. He's a rookie, so I'm gonna cut him a little slack. But both can be true. Both can be true. It was the biggest play of the game, man. Because if he makes that catch, we might have stolen that game and won that game. Jones put it right on the money, man. He put it there, right where it had to be, and he just couldn't hold it, man. He just couldn't toe drag and hold on to the ball. If he holds on to the ball, it's a first down. And you know what? Giants are in business right at that point. Now, obviously, they're not going to kick a field goal there, so there's still that element to it. There's still that element to it that it's not 100% they would have won the game because you got to score a touchdown there, but it was a good chance they would have won that game because they would have had another chance to score a touchdown, and maybe Washington probably don't get the ball back. So, yes, it's just a tough way. I feel bad for the kid because you could see it. It was eating him alive on the sideline because he knew it. And you know what? Might not be a good time to talk about that because it's so fresh, but I like players that, especially young players that care. He cares about this. He could have just moped and no. He was angry at himself. He didn't point a finger at nobody. He blamed himself, and you can bet he's gonna use that as motivation. He might have an even better game next week. Lips to God's ears, because we're gonna need it, because he's going up in weight class next week against that Cleveland defense with Denzel Ward and them boys. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. Diz, shout out to Diz chiming in. Dable got to go with Jones with we bottom out. Well, if this season goes out of control, you might get your wish on both of those things, Diz, because I don't know if Mara will fire Joe Shane. I think honestly Joe Shane's on a hot seat too if the season gets out of control. But I think there's an element there that Mara is very conservative about firing GM, so he might survive this, but it's not 100%. The two guys that are going to be in the biggest deep shit is Dable and Daniel Jones. And you could see it. Brian Dable, you can see it on his face that he's stressed out because he knows it. He knows it. Joshua says David Tepper should have had Wilkes as head coach. He hired Wright. They fired him 11 games into the season. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about Wilkes because Wilkes didn't really do well. I like him better as a coordinator, but I can't say you're wrong. But the firing Frank Wright after 11 games and after hiring him was just ridiculous. I don't know what that was. Oh, I'll tell you what it was, as a matter of fact. It was a power struggle between, from what I read, Reich and the front office and ownership. They had a difference in opinion of who to draft, who they wanted, and personnel decisions before the draft. It is what it is, man. That just goes to show you could always be worse, Giant fans. We tend to be, because we're in a big media market, sensationalize certain things. It could be a whole lot worse. It could. Diz says Neighbors was great. I'm mad he dropped it, but it wasn't his fault we lost. Offense has to be perfect because Dable dumbass didn't want to elevate a kicker. Yes, Neighbors was great. I'm mad he dropped it. I agree with those 2 points. But I won't put the loss on him. I put this loss on the defense more so, because the defense, they just couldn't stop the Washington offense. They couldn't stop them. The Washington offense mostly stopped themselves today. Mostly. David Tepper also owns a soccer team. He fired the first coach after 14 games and then fired the next coach after the team made the playoff. Tepper doesn't know how to run an organization. He clearly doesn't. Diz, they was not going to survive these next 6 games. I don't know about that, Diz. I said earlier in the show, I don't think the Giants will do an in-season firing. If they're going to they don't normally do that. They've only done that one time that I can remember, and that was Jerry Reese and Ben McAdoo. So it's not something John Mara does. And plus, when you do things like that, you send a terrible message to the rest of the candidates that might consider you. So we'll see on that. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. Diz, Panthers are awful with Bryce Young, 5'8" quarterback, looks like a timid child. I'm not even confident in beating them, though. I'll tell you what, they go out to Germany and lose to the Panthers. Fire everybody. Fire everybody. Just leave them there. Don't even bring them back on the plane. You can leave Dable, all of them back there. Shit. Oh, man, bro. So, listen. Tough loss today. This is going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up. Tough loss today for the Giants. 0-2 it is. Just a brutal way to lose. Unfortunate. The Giants got their work cut out for them because we're headed towards another long season, and the season's about to spiral out of control. And like I said earlier, I need a players-only meeting this week in that locker room. I need somebody to show some leadership and say, hey, it's us against the world. It's us against the world. No one's expecting us to win. So let's go out there and show them, that we ready, because it don't look good right now, guys. It don't. We are headed for another long season, another lost season before Halloween. However, it's not over yet. It's on life support, like my homie Blaze said. It's on life support this season. So, listen, it's going to take all hands on deck. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's a tough one today, fellas. It's a tough one today. So, Giants dropped this one 21-18, start the season 0-2. On to Cleveland. Before I go, I just want to say, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, Born for Sports. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys chiming in and stopping by to chop it up with me. I love doing this. It's my passion. And you keep tuning in. This channel is gonna do some nice things, man. I appreciate everybody out there chiming in. But right now, it's a tough loss, tough day to be a Giant fan. Another misery Monday tomorrow is what I call it coming. Another misery Monday coming, unfortunately. So we're in for a tough one, fellas. So it's on to Cleveland. It's on to Cleveland. I want to see who has the cojones. Who's got the balls out there on that Giant team to show some leadership and get them out of this rut and give us a gut check win. Now, I'm not saying one win will definitely change this season around, but you know what? One win could turn this season around, and we will find out very soon. Like and subscribe to Born for Sports. I'm out. Let's go, Giants.